Raider Nation, the wait is officially over. Antonio Pierce named head coach, interim tag removed, and we're excited, man. We saw this coming from a mile away. We posted a video a few days ago, kind of predicting it, and we were proved right. Yeah, it's big news. The players are happy. Max Crosby's happy, and we can kind of move on with our off season now, and we got the right guy at the helm.
Yeah, got the right guy, and we called it here, presumably first. We called it a long time ago that AP was going to be the guy, but super exciting, just an incredible decision by Mark Davis, who doesn't usually make the best choices, as we've seen time and time again. But I don't think you had a choice. I think that Kansas City game really cemented it for us. And as proven today, the only way to beat Kansas City is you have to hit Patrick Mahomes. You have to rattle him. And Buffalo didn't touch him today. And Buffalo lost. Also, Buffalo sucks. The Bills suck. Poverty franchise, losing organization. You guys are never gonna win a Super Bowl. So just gonna just throw that out there right now. Kiss my ass. I don't give a fuck. Like you guys are never gonna win a Super Bowl. Buffalo Bills, I hate you. And I can't believe you let Patrick Mahomes back in the championship game, which we could see him in the Super Bowl. But back to AP. Everyone is happy. The locker room, everyone in that locker room, there's not a man who's unhappy that Antonio Pierce is the head coach. And aside from that, Jack Jones tweeted today and said JD5 is going to be, or what's his name? Yeah, JD5. He
Yeah.
said JD5 is going to be our quarterback. He said JD5 to the Raiders. JD5 to the nation. And that's Jaden Daniels for you. ASU product originally, transferred to LSU and presumably turned into one of the hottest prospects and a Heisman winner, essentially, at the end of the day. He's a Heisman winner. And that foreshadows a lot because Jaden Daniels and AP go way back to the ASU days where he was Antonio Pierce was on the staff. JD Daniels was a kid. He wasn't great. As he grew up, he became a lot better. And it seems like if we could trade up to that, ahead of the Giants, whatever the pick the Giants are at. I don't know. We have a mock draft coming to you guys shortly. But if we can get Jaden Daniels, then I think, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And back to AP, right? I think they didn't really interview anyone else. Like if you look at I think they interviewed two guys, and they're both minority candidates, right? So everyone's saying that it was for the Rooney Rule, and that's probably what it is. We're not going to speculate here. You can't like. It's hard to say. Like I think that's why AP like they try to keep it a secret, right? Because if everyone knew AP was a coach and they only hired diversity candidates or interviewed diversity candidates, it would have looked kind of shady with the NFL. I think that's why they kept it under wraps for a little bit, and that's why it took a little longer. But yeah, I think it was always AP. Like you said, since the Chiefs game, it was AP or nothing, right? So I'm glad we got AP. I mean, the locker room clearly liked him. He was the guy. Um, and the swagger that he brought is undeniable, right? Like our defense played so much harder. Um, we beat the shit out of Mahomes, which we haven't done in a while. Even when we beat them last time, it was an offensive masterclass. It wasn't like we
Yeah.
stopped Mahomes. He still dropped 30 on us that game. So I think
33, yep.
32, yeah, something like that.
40
So
to 33. 41.
yeah, something like that. Yeah. And we were able to kick his ass. And even Buffalo, who everyone says has the best defense in the league, or one of the best, they couldn't touch him, like you said. And
The
we were able to
Bills
do that.
the Bills lost that game for DeMar Hamlin. They lost by 3 points and they lost for DeMar Hamlin.
Yeah, I saw that by the way, that they ran DeMar Hamlin on 4th and 5. What was that? Fake punt?
I have no
Jesus.
clue. I mean, that organization is just fucked up from the inside out. It starts at the top with the Pegula family. I mean, they should just focus on tennis. Their daughter is pretty outstanding tennis player, and they should just focus on her. I don't think the Bills are going anywhere anytime soon. They're really missing the Ralph Wilson days. Like four straight Super Bowl losses. I mean, at least they made it that far. They can't even get to the conference championship now, let alone the Super Bowl. And that's just a cursed franchise. You lose four Super Bowls in a row. Like, okay, how do you lose four times in a row?
Yeah.
Like that is how do you even live with yourself losing four Super Bowls in a row? I have no clue, but I mean, we all saw this coming. Like no one saw that Buffalo was going to win this game. Like I know I didn't. Like I know like Kansas City was like going to win from the start, but back to us. I think now we also fired a bunch of assistants. I think they fired like three defensive assistants. They fired a couple offensive assistants. Defensive line coach went to the Giants, and they fired.
Offensive line coach. Carmen Brasilla, offensive line coach.
Oh yeah, offensive line
Yeah.
coach,
Yeah.
and Bo Hardigree fired, which is the last McDaniel's kind of man on the staff who had to go because at some points in those games down the stretch, it looked like Josh McDaniel stepped in for Bo Hardigree in the last few drives of the game. And when you lose a game 3-0, that coordinator has to be fired as it is. And there was 5 games really this year that the Raiders could have won that they didn't. And starting with Pittsburgh, they should have beat the Steelers. They should have beat the Chargers. They should have beat the Bears. That's three. That's 3 games. If you start Aiden O'Connell in Chicago instead of Brian Hoyer, you win. I think you win that game. I mean, Aiden O'Connell was coming off the Bear. I think that was before the week, couple weeks after the Chargers game. Then you should have beat Minnesota. That's 4, and you should have beat the Colts. That's 5. That's 5 games right there that you should have won and you didn't. And you don't win. And oh, actually, you could even throw 6 in there. You could say when we were up 14-0 with the ball at the 30-yard line on Kansas City the first time around, I was at that game. And on 4th and inches, they decided to kick the field goal instead of obviously putting the foot on the throat and going for it and going up 21-0 possibly. You kicked the field goal, and of course, Danny Boy hooked it. He missed it. And oh my God, shout out that Carlson family, man.
Yeah.
They are dealing going through it like these days. Like after yesterday, Anders Carlson, that man, I don't think he'll be kicking in the NFL much longer.
Yeah. Speaking of the Packers though, and this is what I kind of want to get into. They said that obviously Colin Cowherd floated the idea of Cliff Kingsbury as our offensive coordinator, and that'd be fine. Like I'd be really excited if Kingsbury was the offensive coordinator. But preferably after watching that Packers Niner game, I think you got to get someone from the Shanahan system. Like that offensive system just works wherever it's at. Texans have it, Dolphins have it. I mean, Packers have it, Niners, Rams. These are all like modern, contemporary teams that are having success, right? So I think you go hire some understudy of McVay or understudy of Shanahan. Just pick one of those guys, pay him $2 million to run your operation, right? And it's not like they're going to be willing to take our job because the whole league will know that they're running the offense. Like let's say like if a coordinator works under McVay, everyone knows it's McVay's offense, right? So he's always going to be looked at as the understudy. Whereas if he comes to us and works under AP, it's his own baby. The offense is his thing. So I think offense coordinators will want to come to Vegas. I think it's an attractive destination with all the pieces we have, and hopefully we get a young quarterback. So I think yeah, I mean there are a few names floating around. I can't name the guys off the top of my head. There's a lot of guys, Niners and Rams, that we can kind of pluck from underneath those organizations. So I would go for them if you can't get Kingsbury because he's rumored to be interested in the Bears too. So I mean we're gonna see, but offense
I
coordinator is
think
gonna be the biggest hire that that's yet to come.
I do think last season Cliff Kingsbury at USC was very disappointing. I mean, he wasn't offensive coordinator; he was just an assistant. But I mean, whatever it was, the USC sucked on offense last year. We were horrible. We were just a horrible, horrible offensive team. And I think anyone from that offense is just brings like a disaster waiting to happen. And as much as I like Cliff Kingsbury, I love what he did with Arizona. We talked about it last video. which went viral, by the way, 1.4K views. We appreciate y'all, man. Like that was like one of the top moments since we started this channel. The top moment since starting this channel. 1.4K views, man. That's like outstanding. Shout out to everyone who saw that video and put the thumbs up. We got a shit ton of likes on that too. And yeah, just like, subscribe, share. That's just the 3 word motto. Just got to keep going. But Cliff Kingsbury, okay, I don't mind. I don't think he's great, but if we get him, we get him. But I think yeah, one of those other kind of understudy guys from that Shanahan system. I think you're completely right, spot on with that. Maybe a assistant from the 49ers or from the Rams, like you said. But another thing is that we have Patrick Graham, who is now about to get a second head coaching interview from the Seahawks coming up this week, which is a pretty scary sight, actually. Because if Seattle was to go ahead and sign Patrick Graham as their head coach, then we have a hole right there. We're gonna have to bring in someone else to be defensive coordinator. And I think our defense did go from like bottom three points allowed to like top. I think it was the number one. We allowed 15 points a game the last like 8 weeks of the year. After McDaniels left, the defense really just picked up. And without Patrick Graham, that's going to be tough. I think that's going to be
Yeah.
tough to keep the defense to such a high standard. And hopefully he stays, man. Hopefully we get him to stay.
Yeah, I think we'd be fucked if Patrick Graham is not our defensive coordinator next year. And I say that not because there's not other guys we can hire, right? Like you can go get Sean Desai. He was the Eagles coordinator,
Horrible.
fellow Daisy
Yeah, fucking
football
it
guy.
sucks.
No, he's an analytical guy actually. I actually
Sucks.
like Sean Desai.
Sean
But
decided
anyway,
moron.
besides him, right? Graham fits with our players, right? Like you have Divine Diablo, Nate Hobbs, like Merrick, like all these guys are going to go if you get a whole new defensive coordinator, which we can't afford to lose Patrick Graham because AP is not doing the defensive play calls and the scheme. It's Patrick Graham. Everyone knows that, right? So you cannot afford to have Patrick Graham leave. If he does, I'd be really nervous about our defense next season. I'd be completely scared on what would happen. So that's going to be paramount for our operation is retain Patrick Graham. I think we need him if we're going to be successful next year.
Yeah, and like I said, without him, the defense is really just, I mean, we have our dogs, we have our players, but the defense comes together and it starts with Patrick Graham. And without him, it's going to be a really difficult time to get, everyone to play for another coordinator as hard as they played for Ivy League for Patrick Graham. So we'll definitely see. But I think aside from that, it's looking good. Antonio Pierce is getting his staff in now. The McDaniels guys are on their way out. They're on their way out the door. He's posting his montage videos like that he edits himself on iMovie. And it seems like in the near future, we're gonna have the whole staff filled out and leading up to the draft in April. It's really looking more and more like Jaden Daniels keeps dropping these hints. Even AP liked a post that said, "Oh, Jaden Daniels next Raiders QB," and then he liked the tweet. Um, Mitchell Renz was posting that yesterday. Fake ass Raider fan. Shout out Mitchell Renz though. He's still a cool guy, even though we don't know if he's really a Raider fan or not. But shit, man.
Come on the pot. You gotta Mitchell Rance, if you want to prove your fandom, come here with authentic fans with 120 subscribers
Yeah,
instead
I
of the chat sports filtered channel. So come on and we'll
know.
be glad to
That's
have a
Chad
third
Sports will
third
fire his
season.
ass if he actually says that he likes the Raiders for real. They'll fire his ass. That's the fucking problem. But man, Raider Nation, thanks for the likes, comments, and um, thanks for the likes, comments, and subscribes. We really appreciate it. We'll be coming at you more and more with more videos as the off season progresses, but got a lot coming up. We got the rest of the coaching staff to get filled out. We're gonna see have a decision on Patrick Graham really soon. Hopefully Harbaugh doesn't go to the Chargers, which is looking likely, but hopefully Harbaugh stays at Michigan. Hopefully Belichick goes to the Falcons. And yeah, then we got the free agency opening up in March. Then we got the draft coming in April. Then we got OTA starting. So we got a long ways to go before next season, but y'all are gonna see us and be updated by us every step of the way.
Yeah. Really appreciate the love, Raider Nation. Keep up the support, like you said. I forgot what the motto you said was. Subscribe, share. Was that what it was?
Yeah, like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, so follow that and we'd really appreciate that. So thank you guys, Raider Nation.